Welcome to News Desk on Celebration TV. I am Comfort James.
And I'm Femi Mark.
And the news making the rounds.
Please stay with us as we bring you details. Watch robust, objective, analytical, informative, educative, entertaining and inspiring news on Celebration TV News Desk. Every weekday, 11 a.m. GMT+1, that is 11 a.m. GMT+1 on Mondays through Fridays.
You are welcome to Sports Corner. I am Ivan Agafe.
Celebration TV News Desk, the whole truth. To 15.7 trillion naira at the end of December 2018.
Senior Democrats have responded by accusing him of committing a gross offense.
The All Progressives Congress has vowed to punish the Ogun State Governor, Ibikunle Amosu.
Welcome to Celebration Television News Desk. I am Belly Squetta and thanks for joining us today. Now the news making the headlines. Lagos State releases 87 COVID-19 patients. South African Airways aim to resume domestic flights in mid-June. China's parliament approves Hong Kong security law. CBN suspends intervention loan payment for 1 year. And NFF confirms Roy 2-year contract extension. Stay with us as the details of the news come after the break. Welcome back, and now the news in full. Lagos State releases 87 COVID-19 patients. No fewer than 87 COVID-19 patients have been released from the various isolation facilities in Lagos State. The State Ministry of Health, in a tweet, said amongst them were 40 females and 47 males, adding that they had all been reunited with the society. The patients, 26 from the mainland infectious disease hospital, Yaba, 24 from Onikan, 12 from Etiosa Landmark, 11 from Agidingbi, 9 from Bagada, and 5 from Lut isolation centers were discharged, having fully recovered and tested negative for the COVID-19. With this, the number of COVID-19 cases successfully managed and discharged in Lagos State has risen to 825. Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu, while confirming the update, said as frontline health workers recorded more successes, residents must adhere strictly to the public advisories and directives, as this is the only way they can break their claim of transmission of the virus. And now moving forward on other local stories, school reopening, federal government considers morning and afternoon classes. The federal government of Nigeria says it is thinking of sectionalizing classes for primary, secondary and tertiary institutions in the country ahead of school reopening amid the coronavirus pandemic. The Minister of State for Education, Emeka Nwajiba, stated this during a briefing by the Presidential Task Force on COVID-19 in Abuja. The minister, who flouted the reports that schools would reopen in the country on June 8, said the government could not afford to take any costly risk, especially as it regards the safety of pupils and students in the country. Nwajiba said the ministry was being guided by the advice of experts, including those of the World Health Organization, noting that the decision to reopen schools would be carefully arrived at because education is on the concurrent list of the Nigerian Constitution. He appealed to private owners of schools to cooperate with the government in ensuring a safe reopening. And now on other stories, church may reopen in June, says the CAN. The Christian Association of Nigeria has expressed hope that the ban on religious gatherings in the country may be lifted by the first Sunday of June. The ban is among the safety precautions in place to combat coronavirus in the country. CAN President Reverend Samson Ayokunle gave the indication. He said they had been consulting with the federal government on the modalities to follow. He said if the government did not entertain any fear in opening markets and banks, there would not be any basis to hesitate in opening churches, considering the fact that they are more organized than the banks and the markets. Meanwhile, CAN, the Nigerian Supreme Council for Islamic Affairs, and the Nigerian Center for Disease Control and Presidential Task Force on COVID-19 met over the issue. The CAN delegation was led by the chairman of its North Central chapter and president of the FCT Baptist Conference, Reverend Israel Akanji. The representatives of the federal government were said to have promised to prepare their own recommendations to be presented to President Muhammadu Buhari, who would decide they accepted once and present them to the country in its nationwide broadcast scheduled for next week. And now on news coming from around Africa, South African Airways aims to resume domestic flights in mid-June. South African Airways, the SAA, aims to resume domestic flights between Johannesburg and Cape Town from mid-June as coronavirus lockdown restrictions ease. The SAA, which is under a form of bankruptcy protection, suspended all commercial passenger flights in late March when the government imposed one of the strictest lockdowns in the African continent. But President Cyril Ramaphosa said in an address to the nation that domestic air travel for business purposes will be phased in after June 1st, when the country moves to level 3 of a 5-level alert system. South Africa is currently on alert level 4, a tougher level of anti-coronavirus restrictions. Ramaphosa did not give an exact date when business travelers will be able to fly domestically, and the SAA said it was preparing to resume flights between Johannesburg and Cape Town when permissible. It added it had decided to extend cancellations of all regional and intercontinental flights until the end of June. And now, still from around Africa, a Rwandan genocide suspect denies charges. Rwandan genocide suspect Felicien Kabuga, arrested this month after more than 2 decades on the run, told a French court that the international charges against him were lies. Kabuga had been indicted by the UN Protectors for Genocide and Incidents to Commit Genocide, among other charges. He is accused of bankrolling and arming the ethnic Hutu militants, which killed 800,000 Tutsis and moderate Hutus over 100 days in 1994. And when he was asked if he understood the charges, Kabuga told the court through an interpreter that the charges are all lies against him and denied the claims, saying that he was working with them. Kabuga was arrested in a Paris suburb on March 16. His lawyer told the court he should be released under court's supervision because of his age and ill health, and that the result of a DNA test used to identify him should be annulled as he has not given consent. The court's 3 judges who are due to decide whether to transfer Kabuga to the International Tribunal based in the Hague and Arusha, Tanzania. Kabuga was too elderly and sick to be transferred and should be tried in France, his lawyer said. I will go on a break right now. When we are back from that break, we'll get more updates from China. Stay with us.
Welcome to News Desk on Celebration TV. I am Comfort James.
And I'm Femi Marks.
And the news making the rounds.
Please stay with us as we bring you details. Watch robust, objective, analytical, informative, educative, entertaining and inspiring news on Celebration TV News Desk. Every weekday, 11 a.m. GMT plus 1, that is 11 a.m. GMT plus 1 on Mondays through Fridays.
You are welcome to Sports Corner. I am Ivan Agafe.
Celebration TV News Desk, the whole truth.
Coronavirus is an infectious disease, one which can be spread from person to person.
However, you can protect yourself, the people around you, and help prevent spreading the virus to others if only you
Wash your hands regularly for 20 seconds with soap and water or an alcoholic-based hand rub or sanitizer.
Clean and disinfect surfaces. Cover your nose and mouth with a disposable tissue or flex elbow when you cough or sneeze.
Practice social distancing. Avoid close contact, that is 1 meter or 3 feet, with people who are unwell.
stay home and self-isolate from others in the household if you feel unwell.
Don't touch your eyes, nose or mouth with your hands, whether clean or not.
You only need to stay in the comfort of your home.
As Celebration TV brings to you life-transforming,
Destiny-empowering.
And spirit-uplifted programs for your viewing pleasure.
Together we can save lives and cut down the spread of coronavirus.
This message is brought to you by Celebration TV, revealing Jesus, releasing destinies.
Welcome to News Desk on Celebration TV. I am Comfort James.
And I'm Femi Marks.
and the news making the rounds.
Please stay with us as we bring you details. Watch robust, objective, analytical, informative, educative, entertaining and inspiring news on Celebration TV News Desk. Every weekday, 11 a.m. GMT plus 1, that is 11 a.m. GMT plus 1 on Mondays through Fridays.
You are welcome to Sports Corner. I am Ivan Agafe.
Celebration TV News Desk, the whole truth.
Welcome back. Now on updates from China. China's parliament approves Hong Kong's security law. China's parliament has approved a new security law for Hong Kong, which would make it a crime to undermine Beijing's authority in the territory. The bill, which now passes to China's senior leadership, has caused deep concern among those who say it could end Hong Kong's unique status. It could also see China's installing its own security agencies in the region for the first time. The move has already sparked a new wave of anti-mainland protest. Clashes broke out again as Hong Kong's parliament debated a different proposed law which would make it a crime to disrespect the Chinese national anthem. Hundreds of people were arrested. Security remains high as the debate in the Legislative Council continues. And U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo said developments in Hong Kong meant it could no longer consider to have a high degree in autonomy from the mainland China. The National People's Congress, the NPC, is meeting in Beijing this week after 2 months of delay because of the pandemic, which it had, while it did have the change to vote the bill referred to as a draft decision, it only ever approved legislation put to it by the government, so there was no chance with bills who have not been approved. The bill now passes to the Standing Committee of the Communist Party and could become a law by August. And now more updates from the United Kingdom. Test and trace system kicks off in England. A team of 25,000 contact tracers will make their first phone calls within hours to track down people who will hold to self-isolate under the new test and trace scheme in England. Tracers will text, email or call people who test positive with the coronavirus and ask who they have to contact with. Any of those contacts deemed at risk of infection will will be able to isolate for 14 days, and even if they are not sick. The Prime Minister Boris Johnson said the system will change people's life. The aim of the NHS test to trace the system is to lift national lockdown restrictions and move towards more localized and targeted measures. The contacts of people who were tested positive will be the first to be chased by the NHS test and trace team today, the Health Secretary Matt Hancock said. And Northern Ireland has its own version of the program up and running, while Scotland has announced its own system will start today, and Wales' scheme is due to start in early June. Plans for an app to automatically alert people they have been in contact with someone who has tested positive are still being trailed on the Isles of Wight, and the government still hopes to have the system up and running by the next month. The government's plans to ease lockdown measures including to begin a phased reopening of schools from next week will be confirmed in an official review later. Right now on business news, CBN suspends intervention loan payment for 1 year. The Central Bank of Nigeria has said it is giving 1 year moratorium on all principal payments for COVID-19 intervention loans through its participating other financial institutions with effect from March 1st, 2020. The Apex Banks said this in a circular signed by the Director of the Financial Policy and Regulation Department, Kevin Amogu. It also stated that as part of its continued efforts to mitigate the impact of the coronavirus on household, businesses and regulated institutions, it had reduced interest rates on its facilities through the participating OFIs from 9% to 5% per annum for 1 year, effective from March 1st, 2020. According to the circular, the OFIs have also been granted leave to consider temporary and time-limited restructuring of the tenor and loan terms for household and businesses affected by COVID-19, subject to recently issued guidelines for restructuring affected credit facilities in the OFI subsector. The Director of Corporate Communications Department of the CBN, Isaac Okorafor, said the management approval for the restructuring of credit facilities in the OFI subsector was in line with the bank's desire to alleviate strain on households, businesses and regulated institutions triggered by the lockdown due to COVID-19. He explained that the CBN would also continue to monitor developments and implement appropriate measures to ensure financial stability and support stakeholders impacted by the COVID-19 pandemic. The statement added that the Monetary Policy Committee meeting of the CBN for the month of May 2020 would hold today. And still from business news, petrol marketers to gain 8.3 billion naira on depot price reduction. Retail marketers of petrol are currently ranking in billions of naira, as findings showed that they will make over 8.3 billion naira profit in May due to the recent reduction in the ex-depot price of the product. On May 6, the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, the NNPC, announced a reduction in the ex-depot price of petrol from 113 naira per litre to 108 naira per litre. Ex-depot price is the price at which depot owners sell petrol to the retail outlets in Nigeria. And marketers and consumers had expected the Petroleum Products Pricing Regulatory Agency to review the commodities pump price downward, but had never happened. The PPPRA had in March promised that it will be reviewing petrol price monthly based on global crude oil market fundamentals. Data obtained from the PPPRA Abuja showed that since the 25 naira reduction in the ex-depot price of petrol and PPPRA's silence on price review, marketers had been making larger profits margins. We're going to break right now, and when we come back, we'll take news from the world of sports, and we are going to see how the NFF confirms Roy's contract for 2 years. Stay with us.
Welcome to News Desk on Celebration TV. I am Comfort James.
And I'm Femi Mark.
And the news making the rounds.
Please stay with us as we bring you details. Watch robust, objective, analytical, informative, educative, entertaining and inspiring news on Celebration TV News Desk. Every weekday, 11 a.m. GMT+1, that is 11 a.m. GMT+1 on Mondays through Fridays.
You are welcome to Sports Corner. I am Ivan Agafe.
Celebration TV News Desk, the whole truth.
Coronavirus is an infectious disease, one which can be spread from person to person.
However, you can protect yourself, the people around you, and help prevent spreading the virus to others if only you
wash your hands regularly for 20 seconds with soap and water or an alcoholic-based hand rub or sanitizer.
Clean and disinfect surfaces. Cover your nose and mouth with a disposable tissue or flex elbow when you cough or sneeze.
Practice social distancing. Avoid close contact, that is 1 meter or 3 feet, with people who are unwell.
stay home and self-isolate from others in the household if you feel unwell.
Don't touch your eyes, nose or mouth with your hands, whether clean or not.
You only need to stay in the comfort of your home.
As Celebration TV brings to you life-transforming,
destiny-empowering,
and spirit-uplifted programs for your viewing pleasure.
Together we can save lives and cut down the spread of coronavirus.
This message is brought to you by Celebration TV, revealing Jesus, releasing destinies.
Welcome to News Desk on Celebration TV. I am Comfort James.
And I'm Femi Mark.
and the news making the rounds.
Please stay with us as we bring you details. Watch robust, objective, analytical, informative, educative, entertaining and inspiring news on Celebration TV News Desk. Every weekday, 11 a.m. GMT+1, that is 11 a.m. GMT+1 on Mondays through Fridays.
You are welcome to Sports Corner. I am Ivan Agafe.
Celebration TV News Desk, the whole truth.
You're welcome back. Now on sports news, Nigerian Football Federation confirms Roy's 2-year contract extension. President of the Nigerian Football Federation, Amaju Pinnick, confirmed that Super Eagles head coach Genocide Roy has extended his contract with the Federation for another 2 years. The NFF boss said he was delighted that the Franco-German, whose previous 2-year contract ends in June, has decided to continue with the national team until 2022. The new contract begins on July 1st, 2020 and ends on December 31st, 2022, Pinnick said in an exclusive interview after confirming Roy's contract on Twitter. Pinnick wrote on his Twitter page that he is happy to announce that the Nigerian Football Federation and coach General Roy have concluded all contractual discussions, and he will stay as the coach of the Super Eagles. Pinnick also gave an insight into what could be one of the new conditions included in the contract of the 66-year-old. In another sports news, CAF may postpone 2021 AFCON, says reports. Reports have emerged that the coronavirus pandemic may force the Confederation of African Football to shift the 2021 African Cup of Nations in Cameroon to 2022. The next edition of the AFCON tournament was scheduled to take place between January 9th and February 6, 2021 in Cameroon, but with 4 rounds of fixtures postponed in addition to playoffs, and with 8 months to the event, doubts have surrounded the staging of the tournament. A source within the African football governing body spoke about the possibility of holding the 2021 AFCON in the summer of 2022. The source added that there was another option for postponing the AFCON tournament for a livelihood of 18 months to prevent clash with the 2022 World Cup. The 2019 tournament in Egypt was the first AFCON tournament to be held in the summer. And that's what we have for you today on the News on Celebration Television News Desk. If you're just joining us, here is a recap of the headlines. Lagos State releases 87 COVID-19 patients. South African Airways aim to resume domestic flights in mid-June. China's parliament approves Hong Kong security law. CBN intervention loan payments for 1 month. NFF confirms Roy 2-year contract extension. And now on the photo of the day, we see this interesting quote which says, "It is not only for what we do that we are held responsible, but also for what we do not do." So it is not only what you did that you are responsible for. You know, many people are supposed to do things which they finally don't do, and because of that, because of the failure to do what you're supposed to do, you can also be held responsible. So just like us, give us your ideas, what you think on the photo of the day for today. Tell us on our social media platforms. On Facebook, we are Celebration TV. On Instagram, we are My Celebration TV. On Twitter, we are at My Celebration TV. And on YouTube, it is www.youtube.com/Celebration TV. And don't forget that the continuous transformation of our society is a collective responsibility of all. No matter the office you hold as a nation's president, a thought leader, an opinion molder, a character builder, a professional, or as a person pursuing passion, you have a duty to give your all to making the society a better place for us and the generations to come. So don't forget to play your part and do it with all diligence. Thanks for watching the News on Celebration Television News Desk. I am Belly Squatter. Have a beautiful day.
To 15.7 trillion naira at the end of December 2018.
Senior Democrats have responded by accusing him of committing a gross offence.
The All Progressives Congress has vowed to punish the Ogun State Governor, Ibikunle Amosun.